We're joined now by the Executive Director of the United Nations World Food Program, Cindy McCain. Good to have you here in person.
Thank you.
Now, overnight, we learned that U.S. pier off of Gaza that was set up by the military has reopened. It had stopped functioning for a bit. How is it going? Because I know you are helping to oversee distribution.
Well, right now we're paused because I'm concerned about the safety of our people after the incidents yesterday. We also, two of our warehouses, the warehouse complex, were rocketed yesterday. So we've stepped back just for the moment to make sure that we're on safe terms and on safe ground before we'll restart. But the rest of the country is operational. We're doing everything we can in the north and the south.
How did your locations get rocketed? I imagine you do deconflict and share your locations with the Israeli military.
We are deconflicted. I don't know. It's a good question.
Did you lose any of your
We had one man injured, but everything else is fine. There's nobody else hurt. But indeed, it's the kind of thing. That's why a ceasefire is necessary. That's why we need to stop this so that we can get in at scale with our aid and other aid from other organizations as well. We can't continue this in a way because what almost happened in the north with famine could happen in the south. And so that's what we're trying to avoid right now, and it's been very difficult just because of what's going on. You know, we've had looting inside the country. Mm-hmm. We've had various problems around with it. You know, there's always something going on. It's very difficult to operate there.
You mentioned just now the full-blown famine in the north. When you said that, it got a lot of attention. Prime Minister Netanyahu was asked about your comments by NBC and said, quote, "Cindy McCain, unfortunately, is misinformed." The Israeli government's been putting out pictures of food being brought into Gaza. They dispute there is famine. How does that square with what you are seeing on the ground?
When I made that comment, my people had seen it on the ground, not only evidence of it, but the actual impact of it. Since then, they've allowed us to get more trucks into the north, and so we're getting much more food in up there, and that will stave it off. But listen, the bottom line here is I make choices every day to take food from the hungry to give to the starving. We need a ceasefire. We need it now so that we can feed, and this doesn't happen in the south. We're right on the edge in the south of the same thing occurring.
You're on the edge of famine in the south of Gaza?
Yes, there's people that are very hungry and don't have access because of the danger, or because they've been pushed, into the center again. So we want to make sure that we can not just get in and feed, but do it at scale. They need more than food too. It's water, it's sanitation, it's medicine. So it's all of the above, because famine is not just about starving, it's about all the other things too.
And I know how difficult I've heard it is to help a child with stunted growth.
Yeah.
You just said you're taking from the hungry to feed the starving. You are dealing with a lot in Sudan as well.
Yes.
The United States said paramilitary forces murdered 100 people this past week, including children. And I know the Biden administration says the world's not paying enough attention to Sudan. What's happening, and are they already at famine?
Well, Sudan has the real possibility of becoming the world's largest humanitarian crisis. We cannot get food in. We can barely get food in, and we certainly aren't getting it in at scale. And you see the results of what can happen if people aren't fed. We're also coming into the lean season, which makes it very difficult many times for our trucks to even operate if they can get in. We need more, same drill, we need more crossings, we need safe and unfettered access. And that's the same for Gaza, by the way, safe and unfettered access. And making sure that we can get in and make sure we can feed at scale. Once again, it's about the agreements from various people and various factions and all of this. Bottom line is people are going to starve to death unless we can get in there.
We've been talking all week long about America's role in the world. And the U.S. is still the largest donor to the World Food Program. When you were here last June and we spoke, you said you were trying to encourage China to get involved with funding, but also get their expertise with technology and agriculture. Are they stepping up at all? Are other countries stepping up?
Other countries are stepping up. It's not to the scale that it was 2 years ago, but countries have stepped up. And in the case of Sudan, a few more have stepped up to it. Sudan is a forgotten crisis, and its implications being a destabilizing factor in that region can have catastrophic effects as it comes down the line. So it's really imperative that we get the crossings open, that we have safe access, that the various factions understand that we're humanitarian and we need to have the access.
And to your point, U.S. intelligence has said that if this isn't acted upon, that it can contribute to the growth of terrorism.
Absolutely.
Just like in Gaza.
People will do anything to feed their families, and if it comes down to it, terrorism may be the choice they have to make.
Cindy McCain, thank you for sharing with us.
Thank you. Thanks
your
for
good
covering
work.
it. Thank you.